Hello.
Hi, can you see and hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Namaste. Nice to see you.
Your little one's good?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
He's with Granny.
He's
He's with his Granny.
with his granny. Okay, good, good. Here the air quality is so bad from fires in Oregon, Washington, and California that I can't ride my bicycle.
It's so bad from what?
There are forest fires burning.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Oh.
yeah, kind of a seasonal thing, but the prevailing wind is keeping the dust in the air. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Mm.
So we're inside celebrating rather than. So this chapter is just so beautiful. I've just really blissed out over it, and really looking forward to going through it with you.
Chapter 6, is it? Having a
bath. Having a bath. And you know, when you think about a bath, it's sort of an everyday thing. So Nadaga is very innocently asking Ribu, okay, I'm having this bath regularly. You know, what's the way to turn it into a spiritual experience?
Yeah.
And Ribu's having none of that. He takes him somewhere else entirely.
Yeah.
And he starts with first, and this is very interesting, I think, first he starts with certitude, and then he introduces the mantra, and then he praises the mantra. So that's, to me, how the chapter breaks out. And if I could, the book came home, which is great. He's saying the resounding certitude, I am Brahman, is the best of baths. Hear the nature of such a bath, as extensively expounded by the Supreme Shiva. I am ever of the nature of the Supreme Brahman. I'm ever of the nature of existence, consciousness, bliss. I'm ever of the nature of the Supreme Shiva. Such I am Brahman certitude is the sublime bath. He's not done. he wants to build on it from there. And so, if I may, I'd like to read more from 9, 10, and 11. And then we'll see if something bubbles up. I am all that is perfectly full bliss. I'm the unlimited great bliss. I'm the blemishless supreme bliss. I am ever the unsurpassed supreme bliss. I'm ever the mass of existence bliss. I'm ever the mass of consciousness bliss. I'm ever the supreme Brahman. Such I am Brahman certitude is the sublime bath. I'm of the nature of truth alone. I'm of the nature of awareness alone. I'm of the nature of happiness alone. I'm of the nature of the one alone. I'm of the nature of the motionless alone. I'm of the nature of the self alone. I'm of the nature of Brahman alone. Such I am Brahman certitude is the sublime bath. I'm ever of the nature of the vast space. I'm ever of the nature of the great. I'm ever of the nature of the space of consciousness. I'm ever of the nature of a mass of consciousness. I am ever of the nature of the supreme infinity. I'm ever of the nature of the Supreme Self. I'm ever of the nature of the Supreme Brahman. Such I am Brahman's certitude is the sublime bath. So certainty first.
Mm-hmm. Like what I hear when I hear all that, somehow, I don't know, the language is a little bit different than the type of language that at least that I normally speak, just in my day-to-day life. So just somehow the brain wants to like compute, like what does that actually mean in a practical way, and in a way that like I can understand. So what I hear is like it basically means to not get caught up in all the stories of the world because I'm not that, and I'm never that. Like it's kind of saying what you are, but like in a way, if you just know what you're not, you just are that. So if you're not getting caught up in any stories of this character. So whatever character you body that you seem to see. So like I see Amber going around doing this and that and this and that. And sometimes maybe you can like engage with certain stories, and then it's like, oh yeah, actually, but I'm not that, so it's fine. As soon as you kind of like, if you engage, you not if you engage. I don't know if engage is the right word. I think maybe identify is a better word. Like if we identify and feel like it's us, then we suffer. And as soon as we recognize, I suppose, that, or just don't, you don't even have to recognize anything. Even it's just like as soon as we just don't identify, because as soon as you don't identify, you're already you don't have to attach yourself onto your true state because you already are your true state. It's like we attach ourselves onto the false. So it's like as soon as we just unattach that, that is like being in the certitude, like this. And I do feel like I remember like over and over again. Like sometimes I find myself like maybe getting caught up in a little story, and it might feel like sometimes it can feel like just an idea, like, oh yeah, like I know I'm not that, but still energetically, like I'm totally like engaging with the story of whatever, like Amba, like nowadays it's like mother story. My little boy is starting school, so, and like he's feeling really sad about it. So like I can kind of like feel like a bit sad for him, and it's kind of normal as well. But you can kind of engage with the story in an identified way, or you can just let it play out, and the feeling is kind of the same. But somehow when you don't identify with it, there is like a bliss here at the same time. It's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, that's fine. It's almost like the whatever hooks on. It's like it just keeps wanting to hook. This is the little hooks. It's like it just keeps wanting to hook. Like every time there's a new story, or which is like every moment. Like there's moments all the time. New stories are coming in, so the little hooks come out. um, and I suppose most of the time they don't get on, or they might get on and then, but sometimes they might get their claws in for a minute. And I really don't think it really matters. Like I'm not that concerned if they do or not. But anyway, sometimes they do get their hooks in for a minute. But as soon as you kind of realize, oh, the hooks have been in there for like a little while. It's like, and then, but like I don't that's not what I am, and I really don't have to allow those hooks to be there. They just automatically unhook, and it is so like freeing and blissful and it's a bath. It is like a bath, like in that moment, and not even in that moment, in that's like stepping into the bath in that moment of unhooking, you know, when you get into a nice hot bath when you really want it, it's like and like when you stay in there it's still nice, but somehow when you get in at first it's like extra nice. Like as a
For me, it's like putting down a bag of rocks. Like I've been
yeah,
carrying this big bag, and okay, let's just leave that here.
yeah,
And it's not the decision to put down the rocks. Oh, you know, I picked this up. I've been dragging it around. So, and you know, whoop. All right. So we're in the bath. We're very certain. Do you have your book? Because I think one chapter, sorry, one verse 17 would be extremely beautiful in Amba's voice. So I want to introduce you. I want to introduce you with verse 16. So we've come to the certitude as the sublime bath. And Ribu's told this to Nadaga over and over again. So now he's about to introduce the mantra. And he says in verse 16, thus I have told you about the easy way of having a purificatory bath in the waters of the Supreme Brahman, Son. Whoever hears this even once and understands it without delusion will become Brahman. Hear now the mantra of the Supreme Brahman, as taught by the Supreme Shiva at all times. This is the best, the essence of all great mantras.
I am ever Brahman existence. I am ever Brahman consciousness. I am ever Brahman bliss. I am ever Brahman pure. I am ever Brahman the non-dual. I am ever the undivided Supreme Brahman. This egoless I am Brahman certitude is indeed the mantra superior.
So from this side, one can't authentically say this without causing this unhooking that you're speaking of.
What do you mean?
That it's like shifting. Words break down a little bit, but it's like shifting the perspective from, like you say, getting caught up in whatever drama is appearing. And it's sort of re-identifying with the substratum, Brahman, consciousness, awareness, like asking the question, am I aware now?
You mean when you say these words like I am Brahman, the pure I am Brahman, like then you can't be kind of hooked at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of feel like I don't really know, but this is just kind of I just kind of feel like that people, well, they do have an essence, like words do have an essence. So maybe, but like I feel like it's when you really, when you say the words and you know it as well, like you've seen it, but like you probably could say those words and not be connected to them, but they probably would have some effect. Maybe I don't really know, like if you say it at all different times. Like I think I do kind of feel like you could say it and be totally kind of deluded as well. That's why I was kind of saying I don't really feel like it's something about saying the words so much as just like when you say the words, it's an affirmation, like you're affirming to yourself what you know already. So because you know and you've experienced it, and in a way everyone knows, and it is really our everyone's like deepest experience, of course. So that's why the words, I suppose, do have a power. So that's it. I'm kind of saying the opposite, but the words do have a power.
What it feels like, to reflect on just what you're saying,
Mm,
it's like calling my cat inside. Like
mm,
she's gonna come when she's ready, but she
yeah.
hears the
Oh,
voice.
yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You're saying it. Yeah. It's like, and it's like when you're saying it, you're kind of, yeah, that's a good way of saying it, you're calling it, and it's like you want it to be true, you're bringing it to your consciousness more. It's true. Yeah.
So I made a big square around verse 26. So
Because you liked verse 26.
you bet. So now he's said the mantra. So now he's praising it. Um, the blemishless knowledge of the Supreme should be practiced by the daily, constant, assiduous repetition of the incomparable mantra, I am Brahman, for a long time. It is the I am Brahman mantra alone that will destroy all great sins. The speckless I am Brahman mantra will destroy the distress that dualism develops. We're deep in the bath now.
It's like be sure of, be sure that I am Brahman. I'm just saying a different word. That says have the certitude. Have the certitude, be sure. It's like you're just, it's like we're reaffirming to ourselves over and over again throughout the day by whatever method we have. Because you could, if you took only one teaching, if you took only this and you did only this, like, so if you're actually saying, like I am, like exactly as he says, then of course that would be enough. And just be sure, be sure, be sure. But I think most people, I don't know about you, but we hear so many different things. We hear like so many different teachings, even though in a way they're all the same. They're all the same, but they have different ways of saying the same thing, and they really are all this. But like it could be like you're sure by, sometimes you have to be sure by asking the question like, who am I, or am I aware now, or even just saying I'm not that, or um, or even just like, I think I was saying the last time, like Nisargadatta says, it's just like bring your attention to just being, like they're literally, like they're really all the same, and you're just like you're confirming to yourself over and over and over and over again, as many times as you need to, until like, in a way, like you don't need to do it all the time, because some, like when you're really just being, you don't need to confirm that you're being. Being doesn't need to confirm to itself that it's being. It's more like, it's more just for the mind to come out of believing that it's something else, or for consciousness to come out of believing that it's mind. But
What
just
can
anytime we feel like we need it, I suppose it's like just checking and saying, oh yeah, and you get, because we check so many times, and every time we get the right answer, it's not that you're getting the answer that I'm something, it's even getting the answer that like I'm nothing, like you're actually saying that actually no, everything that I've believed myself to be, I'm not. Like that's just, it's just an idea. Like actually, when you actually look, like what do you find? Like, there's nothing that you can actually find to put your finger on. So even saying I am Brahman, you could, it's a word, and as soon as there's a word, it's like our minds want to create a kind of an image for that word, or more words about that word. um, but really what we are doesn't have a word at all. Not even awareness. Nothing. There's no word for what we are.
It's like the last syllable or the last consonant of the N in Brahman is
Mm-hmm.
it's like a stepping off point.
Yeah. But, yeah, they're good pointers. That's even Brahman. I don't know if there's. I think it's just like the human mind wants to say. If someone says to you, "What is Brahman?" You might have a few words about it. Even if we don't want to, or even if we don't think anything like that. It's like, we'll find a few words. It's this. It's that. It's that. But really, they can only ever be like pointers at best, and they can't really. You really can't put your finger on it at all. And yeah. I think you can be if you can be sure of anything. I don't know if you can be even sure of this, but if you can be sure of anything, you can be sure that you really don't know. You can be sure that you really don't know anything. You don't know what Brahman is. You don't know. You don't even know if you're sure. Don't know if I'm. I don't know if I'm certain that I'm wrong. Because actually, like at least for me, I don't know. Like I'm not ripping, so so I say like that. I'm not even certain that not literally not certain of anything, and like that feels good. It feels better. It feels better somehow than saying I'm sure that. But in a way, it's kind of like the same. It's the same.
Well, I think you're speaking to the risk of being sure as clinging or hanging on to
Yeah,
something. There's
yeah,
yet another concept to hang on
yeah.
to.
Because it's so easy. Anything that has words can be turned into a concept, and I've just seen it in myself. Like, and even when you really don't feel like you're doing it, then like you've been doing it for a while, and then you realize, oh, I've actually been like turning that into an idea. It's like just somehow can do that.
So before we go on, it seems right to disqualify Amba as a teacher and just say that,
Mm,
I'm looking for the self,
mm,
and you're showing me yourself, and that's enough. And it's really beautiful. Not a whole lot more to do. And the just to try to describe it, the quiet, empty spaciousness, it's very expansive.
mm. But are you even really looking for yourself?
Am I even really looking for myself?
Yeah, you said I'm looking for myself,
No, I'm looking for the self.
but are you looking for the self? Who are you that's looking for the self? Not in a like in any weird way, like just in a real clear way. Like who are? Do you think you're someone called Steve Bloom? Do you think you're someone called Steve Bloom who's like separate from their self, and you want to find their self?
Well, maybe a better way of describing it is it's the self looking for the self, but you're laughing because you see me trying to cogitate an answer here.
So
I don't know. It's like,
even in the questions like, do you think? I said, do you think you're Steve Bloom looking for the self? So like, it really doesn't matter what we think, because nothing that we think is true. Like, there's
mm,
nothing that we can think is true, because it's a thought. Like, so you can't ever find truth in a thought. And I don't know. I feel like a good way is, even if we think or like believe that we're certain for the self. If we just take all the teachings, literally like all the teachings, maybe not 100%. I'm sure there's some teachings that say something different, but they're all saying the same thing, and they're all saying that the self is all that's here. Like there isn't something apart from the self. Like what's the song of River saying over and over again? It's saying all is Brahman. Brahman is all I am. This doesn't exist, that doesn't exist, this doesn't exist. So if we just I kind of feel like it's a really good stance to take in a way, to not even try to understand it in our minds, but just kind of read it or hear it, allow the words to, they do whatever, if they need to do something, they'll do it. But just kind of like, in a way, if we're drawn to that, to actually put our faith in it, so then you don't even have to look for yourself anymore. It's like, just take it at face value. It's like, okay, the self is all there is here, and don't try to work it out. But if the words are like magic or something, like let the words do the magic on you, and don't even give any like any time thought comes, like whether I think I'm doing this or I think I'm doing that, or even like the energy of trying to do things, to just like keep leaving it all the time. And in a way, if we have to believe something, then we believe like what, like this says, it's like the self is all that's here. Brahman is all that's here. So even if we feel like we're not sure, so it's saying like have the certitude. But even if like the mind says, but I'm not certain. But the thing is, the mind is never ever going to be certain. Like that which says, but I'm not certain. Because the mind will always say that, and the mind will never ever be certain. That's the thing. But your heart is already certain.
Mm.
Like, because the self, this, or your heart, or the self, or itself, is already certain of itself, because it knows what it is, and it knows that there's nothing else. It knows there's nothing apart from it. So, in a way, I feel like it's good to, if you're with a teaching, then to just totally be with it. Like, like, I don't know, there's like punchline. There's no punchline. I don't know what the punchline is.
Well, as
The
you're,
punchline is just don't think, like, don't think. Because I don't know, like, I don't know. I suppose what triggered it was like you said, like I'm looking for the self, and you can't really, like, the self is not looking for the self, and the self is all there is. So we're taking this, we're meeting under the, like, the umbrella. Let's say we're meeting under Ribu's umbrella, or Ribu's like guidance, and this is what he's saying. So we're taking it like that. So like, no, there's no self to look for another self. It's like there's just a self. That's what I like to feel, like a sangha or something is like that. It's not like that. It's like we're kind of friends, and we're just like helping each other. Like Ribu is the teacher, and it's like if one of us goes like off it, then it's like, but Ribu said that. It's like, oh yeah, no, I don't want to like ever feel like, or take any um idea that like I'm trying to teach something or something, because that would be weird.
what I was trying to do is let you off the hook and take away
Yeah,
your responsibility a
yeah.
little bit.
Because if you take on
And
any idea like that anyway, it's not like, I don't think it's helpful
mm,
for anyone. Because
well,
I do feel we're all, sorry for keeping on interrupting.
no,
In a
no,
way,
no.
like we're all teachers to each other, and we're all students to each other as a, like, I don't know if you've ever come across the Course in Miracles, but I spent some time studying Course in Miracles a few years ago, and one thing it says in it, it's like we're all, I don't know, it said something like that, like the essence was like we're all teachers, and we basically teach what we are. So if
Mm,
we're love, if we're tuned into love, we teach love, and if we're tuned into fear, we teach fear. No matter what you think you're teaching, it doesn't matter. And that's just like, so it's more like how you are in the world. That's what you teach, whether it's through words or just through being, or just the way you are. And I don't know, I felt like that was like that.
Well, from this side, Amba's teaching love and clarity and
Mm.
certainty, and your mirror is very clear,
Yeah.
and it's great looking in the mirror. It's really, really a treat.
Yeah. My mother's trying to get me to buy a mirror now. So I can, she wants me to buy a mirror, a flexible mirror, no less.
A flexible one.
Yeah, that's very like it's very funny, isn't it? I can't find the right words. But like she's trying to get me to buy a flexible mirror, like the mirror that you can roll out and for the garden. A flexible mirror.
Oh, well, just say, have you met Steve?
Yeah, a flexible mirror.
Um, so this chapter concludes so beautifully that I was going to read you 34 and 36 and then ask if you would be willing to read 40 and 41.
Mhm.
Okay, so basically, we talked about certainty. We've introduced the mantra, and now Ribu is just praising it over and over again. And he's saying, the resounding I am Brahman mantra alone will bring continuous meditation. The resounding I am Brahman mantra alone will bring on Sivakalpa, differentiated samadhi. The resounding I am Brahman mantra alone will bring on the samadhi without vikalpa, false notion, difference, diversity. The resounding I am Brahman mantra invokes immediate awareness. And then in 36, it is ever the I am Brahman mantra that reveals the blemishless knowledge of the self. It is ever the I am Brahman mantra that affords conquest of the blemishless world of the self, Atma Loka. It is ever the I am Brahman mantra that gives the wonderful bliss of the self. It is ever the I am Brahman mantra that gives the undivided bliss of liberation.
All that is seen is in imagination is ever illusory. The blemishless Supreme Shiva is the only truth. The knowledge that I am that, beyond the reach of the mind, of speech, and of any of the infirm senses. The great mass of knowledge bliss is the only proper means of liberation. This is certain. Thus did Rivu teach the fearless mantra for the back. It is the perfectly full form of our Lord in a state of joyous dance that speaks of the sublime truth. I am the immutable, taintless, attributeless, eternal, partless, blemishless, differenceless, perfectly full existence, consciousness, bliss, Brahman, and that gives the sublime bath and the pure mantra, I am Brahman.
We're making a lovely record here, but I think it'd be great to include more people.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
guess we'll see what
everybody's
happens.
welcome. I don't know how they know. Anybody's welcome.
Okay, good, good. I'm so glad we found time. Part of me was thinking from our last conversation that you needed to take a break for a bit. So I'm relieved to know that
Yeah.
it's still possible to get together. It's
Yeah,
great.
no, it's just because the like our schedule here is a bit like all over the place. We don't know. I don't have a like proper schedule. I kind of do
Mhm.
have a bit of a schedule, but like the times that I can be sure about are like the middle of the night for you.
Yeah, I get it.
But it's gonna settle down now in a week or two. This might be a good time. I don't know if it's a good time for you.
I can make it work. Yeah, I can make it work.
Yeah, like I'd prefer to meet every week than every 2 weeks. I don't know if you're able to do that because like 2 weeks seems like a long time, and if I do something every week, it seems like more likely that it will continue. Yeah.
I want to cry. It makes me so happy to think of it.
Mm.
Sure.
Like we don't really know what this world is. It's like something that like so mysterious. Like we can kind of have a sense. I kind of feel I have a sense. It's just like we just don't know what it is, but like this is kind of like almost like if everything is like energy, okay, and everything like nothing is like physical really, like can't re I know it seems like we can touch things and all, but it's just kind of magical. Then this is almost like a magical key that like opens up like, well, it really opens up reality. I was gonna say like it opens up another dimension, but in a way it doesn't really open up another dimension, but it's like a key to reality within within the only reality. So it's like that's why, see, you try to say something and you can't. You sound like you're speaking gobbledygook. Like there only is reality, but this opens up reality. That doesn't make any sense. But I just feel like it's really magical. Like it's like it looks like it's just a book, and it looks like they're only words, but like it's so much more than that. It's like,
Well, it's led me here, brought us
yeah,
together.
yeah,
It led me to the translator and a community that's gathered around him.
yeah.
Brought us the pictures of the wood carvings of representing the Daga and Ribu.
Is that place near where you stay, or you just went there to visit?
It's a 1 hour flight or so,
Mm,
hour and 10 minutes
mm,
to San Jose, and then I have a friend who lives in the hills between there and Santa Cruz, and then the
mm.
temple is in Santa Cruz.
What's the place called again?
It's the Society of Abidance in Truth.
Yeah, I think they have a place in like a. I went to some place in Bangalore, and they were like, I think they were associated with there. Is it like a kind of a Ramana place?
Yeah, there are pictures of Ramana everywhere, and
Mm.
Nome teaches directly from Ramana's teachings. He'll read them and then say more.
There's one of those like in Bangalore, is it? And I remember we went there, and she was speaking. I don't know if she was actually from California, but she was definitely associated with the one. Is it in California somewhere? Is
Santa Cruz, California.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So she was talking about the one in California. I don't know if she was from California as well. She was Indian, but I don't know if she was going forward and back. But anyway, yeah, because when I was in Bangalore, I was there with Ananda, but there was a girl that's really into being in Tiruvannamalai in Ramana, so she was associated with like Ramana ashram, and that's how she knew the woman who teach that. They're probably similar places. They're like brother and sister
Mm,
ashrams or something. It was a
mm,
really beautiful place in Bangalore.
mm.
Like they have like a little kind of kind of a, I don't know what you call it, a Ramanaru. I don't know
Mm.
what the proper term. That's really
Yeah.
nice.
Next time I go, I'll take pictures of the temple and
Mm.
share them across.
Have you
It'll
been
be
to Tiruvannamalai or not?
no, no, no.
Not in that body.
Right, right. I can't prove it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll confirm with you for next Friday and make this time work.
Yeah,
This is so beautiful. Thank you.
thank you so much.
Okay. See
Bye.
you soon.
Bye.
Namaste.